Vignesh sir, can you just wait for 5 minutes? Let other students join. Then we will go with the introduction. Then you can start presenting. Is it audible to you? Vignesh sir? Guys, if my voice is audible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So, good evening everyone. As a late for We Are Playmo's Chennai chapter, I welcome Vignesh Chandrasekharan sir for presenting a webinar topic on roadmap to cybersecurity. I also like to welcome all the participants for this webinar. Vignesh Chandrasekharan is a red team expert. He secured a few companies and received the Hall of Fame as well. He won few CTF programs. He has worked on a wide range of topics in security. Some of them include red teaming, infrastructure pen test, purple teaming, forensics and incident response, cyber threat intelligence, cyber footprint assessment, application penetration testing. We welcome you, sir. Over to you. You can start, share your screen and present. Vignesh, bro, are you there?
Hello everyone. Hello.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So good evening everyone. Hope everyone is doing good and everyone is able to view my presentation. And let me before starting up, I just wanted to say a few things. So this session should be completely interactive. Number one, and this should session is completely beginner friendly. Number two, and number three, the session whatever the question, wherever the question, please unmute yourself and raise it up so we can answer your question and proceed it further. Since the slides, whichever I am talking about, were less in number, but the content is more. So I want this to be as much as interactive for the as much as interactive. So please cooperate. I hope everyone is from the beginner or it might be some intermediate or already might be experts. So about me, I'll be called with an alias name Blueberry Vignesh 4303. If you want to Google, you can Google this name. And I usually play CTFs. You might have some fancy names like Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, etc. And I used to play for some CTF teams. And with respective to the popular name called Bug Bounty, I do Bug Bounty as well, and I have few Hall of Fames to my name, and few CVEs, and few 0 days. If you are an advanced expert, you might heard about the word 0 day, which can't be disclosed. And I am working as a red team lead. It's a kind of project leader role for some company. So let's jump into it. So what we're going to discuss today. So first question, it's all about introduction, and second, it's all about myths about cybersecurity, roadmap of cybersecurity. And as I said, since it's going to be beginner and intermediate friendly, so I have distributed four major categories. If you are a developer, how you can develop yourself into cybersecurity. If you are from the software testing domain, or if you are from infrastructure domain, that is nothing but ICT we call, or in general IT server administration like Red Hat or Linux admin or system admin, what you should do. And if you are a college student, assuming everyone is from India, what should we do? And certifications and standards, roadmap, and conclusion. This is what, in summary, I'm going to show you up. If you want any illustrations or any new technologies, I might reveal up. Please feel free to ask out of this anything about the cybersecurity as well. At the end of the session, if we have time, I am ready to solve it up as well. Okay, so let's jump in. So first and foremost, as I said, it should be interactive. What is cybersecurity? In your words, please. I don't want the Googled Wikipedia explanation. I just want what is cybersecurity in your opinion.
Cy-
Yeah.
Cybersecurity is like awareness about technology.
Okay, fine. Any other?
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible. You are audible. Next.
Yeah.
So it is
And
like to secure our softwares and hardwares. How we secure all these, and it contains also websites and our applications and all these things. To secure all these is cybersecurity.
to secure all this, okay, fine, more or less. Okay, then, okay, what is the word hacking called? Everyone, whenever you heard about cybersecurity, you might be hearing about the word hacking. I am a hacker. I am a security guy. So, what does that hacker mean?
Breaking a code.
So, okay, not only the
Breaking into
code,
system,
breaking
So
into
the
breaking into system and network.
the one who get unauthorized access
Taking the unauthorized
okay,
without the
okay.
owner's permission.
Hacker is that particular entity which violates the general principles like confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the secure information.
Sir, whomsoever you are talking about the CTIA map, I guess so. It's related to the compliance stuff. I'll come to that later.
Hacking is making
Yeah.
a thing perform a task that is not intended to do that.
Okay. So the hacker, if I do something outside the cyber security, can I also be treated as a hacker? For example,
Yes.
yes. That's the first and foremost myth which I want to solve. A hacker might be in any type of roles. Hacking or the hacker in general, according to the cybersecurity, whatever the terminologies, whichever you guys have described, all were right. And in general, hacker is the guy who uncovers things or whom breaks the things. Hack is the word hacking in cybersecurity is just a myth. Okay. And next, before jumping into this, if you say you are into hacking, the first question you might face were this: can you hack my girlfriend? Can you hack a Facebook account? Can you track mobile? Can you hack my phone and tap up information? Can you do zero-click malware installation? How many of you faces this kind of questions? I hope everyone might face the questions, right? Yeah,
Correct.
everyone, everyone. If you
Correct.
say the
When you say you are a hacker or you are a certified hacker,
yeah, are you a certified hacker? That's the next question which I'll come into the field. Okay. So here, what we going to do is before getting further, first I'll list down all the cyber security myths. I just want to know your side points, how far you are good. Just let's discuss it like a debate, okay? Your business is too small for a cyber attack. Why I call it as a myth?
So Vignesh, what is my observation is like nowadays the if you are running a 10 user or 10 system business, you have a
Hmm.
10 system or 10,000 system, there
Hmm.
will be a hacking. Okay, it's not like your business is small or big. Okay, so hackers are even behind the individuals also. It's not like sorry, cyber attack is on the individuals also, not only on the small businesses or big businesses.
Okay, then so here most of the guys will talk whenever you say about breach. There is a word called breach, guys. Breach is nothing but stealing and releasing of confidential information. Okay, so whenever you want to do something, okay, or try something, okay, let's have some real-time hacking. So can anyone why does hacking is not a myth? One second. Hacking is not a myth, then why here ethical hackers or have OACP hackers? My dear, coming soon, I am a OACP as well, and I am a OACE as well. I'll just explain to you separately. Okay, I'll coming to you. So why it's called as myth? Here I have described the word myth. Yeah, hello. A chess game in which they block us in all. Yeah, okay, one second. Just a second. Yeah, so I hope everyone is able to view the screen. So why I put the word myth, sir, I have doubt about your meaning. I'll explain to you for everyone, every doubt, I'll explain as much. Okay, no problem. Let them come up with the doubts. I am just reading all the comment section. So first and foremost, I'll just say why I have put the word hacking is just a myth. So myth is just okay. Let's say what's the maximum? There were many hackers and there were many OACPs, or there might be many bug hunters, whomsoever in the screen. So there is a difference between invention and discovery, right? I hope everyone know the difference between invention and discovery. Correct?
Correct.
So, are you guys in cybersecurity or in particular hacking or whatsoever, or in cybersecurity industry? Are you guys discovering anything or inventing something? For example, let's say you are a bug hunter. You are
We
already
discover, sir.
we discover.
Discover, sir.
Discover.
So that is, I don't think the word hacking is just a myth. I don't see any wrong in that, since there is no one have invented anything. Discovering 95 to 96%, majority of them will rediscover the things. To be honest, whatever it's already discovered, you are just testing the things. For example, let's say bug bounty. What you guys, most of them will do is just take one standard, take one checklist, understand the standard, understand the flow, and then going according to the flow and figuring out the vulnerability. Something which is not exist is a myth. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hacking is a myth. The real hacking does not exist. That's what I mean. So if you want, we can debate it up at the end of the thing. If you want, why I have put the myth. So let's jump into here. So this is the all about roadmap which I am going to talk about today. So first and foremost, I'll say how in most of the companies will develop the projects and what were your cybersecurity roles. So in roles in the sense, I am just talking about the jobs. Okay. So here, let me explain the general flow of an application. Okay. And general business user impact. Business user impact is nothing but functional flow. Okay. So whenever you get into some cybersecurity job or cybersecurity domain, you would be given with your role to test and report the things. So it might be of different areas. So before that, before getting in depth, I'll just explain you the flow. So let me say, take a BFSI sector, banking and financial system industry, banking sector in general. I have been working for one banking sector in past. So what they will do is there will be some application development team, there will be some infrastructure team. What my role was to test the application whichsoever they develop. So there were three types of applications depending upon the hardware and software and the operating system which you guys have been using. For example, mobile application, thin, thick, depending upon the tires, thin, thick, three-tier or multi-tier or n-tier architecture, depending on the architecture as well. And there is another set of industry called SCADA, which is nothing but an industry controlled systems, and a mobile application, firmware application, IoT, Internet of Things. There were a lot of applications evolve around. So depending upon the application which you guys get into, all guys will be fall under the category called application testing. Okay, in application testing, as of now, there were multiple industries, among them source code review, application penetration test, and secure. Once you get upgraded, secure code review, source code review, secure code architecture review, security architecture review. Likewise, the engineering or the structure will go on. This is only for the application. So let me explain all the flow. So first, let's say you're entering into some company. Okay. So once you enter into some company, you will be flagged by some physical guy, right? The company might have some set of rules like you should dress up like that. You should not write your passwords on the desks. Likewise, there are a set of policies or protocols. There is a difference between policies and protocols. Protocols are the set of rules which you must follow. Policies or the set of rules which you can follow. If you don't follow, you would be obliged or you would be punished. Okay. So if there were certain set of cybersecurity industry, yeah, hello.
Sir, can you zoom it a while?
Yeah, can you? One second. Can you read it up now?
Yes, better.
I'll just give you the slide at the end of the session. So no worries. I have the bigger map, so you can stick to it. So all I'm going to discuss about this industries only. So as I said, here there is there were three things: framework, standards, and compliance. Compliance or governance or risk assessment team were separate set of people whom design the rules, whom design the policies, or whom define the standards. Okay, so if you want to, if you are in a theory, if you are a student, or if you don't want to touch any programming, this area is for you. governance. I have highlighted here, right? Governance, cyber governance, which includes auditing, risk assessment, industrial assessment, compliance, and enforcement. So here is the area which will give you the reason where, or if you feel, or if you hate programming, you can jump into this industry. So, okay. And if you are good at teaching, you can go to the industrial training and do certification and attend multiple conferences. And here, another set of industry called monitoring, which is nothing but SOC, which you might have heard most of the time, Security Operations Center. So what they will do is, they will proactively and reactively monitor everything whichever happening around. So they will proactively and reactively monitor whatever the things happening around, and they will do it. So here, I just wanted to showcase one demo about the breach. Okay. So I just want one volunteer's email ID, which you can share it up, anything, Gmail ID or anything. So let's check it out. Okay. Let me check it up and give it to you. Okay, any other email ID? Okay, Mr. Anonymous. Okay. I hope at least one ID will be there. Mr. Anonymous Root. I have special eye on Anonymous Root. No one is using social network. First and foremost thing, whatever the content I have put it over here, all are plagiarized. So please don't come and blame me. Okay. So how you guys? I hope everyone know to check how whether you have reached or not. Have you guys know about it? Whether to check whether your ID got breached or not. So what you guys will do, have I been found? And other than that, okay, let's say my email ID has been breached. Can you guys get my password? Okay, let me give you one task. If you, before the end of the session, if you guys can find out, it will be useful. My email ID has been breached already. So if you guys can find out the password, you can hack my account and do whatever you want. I have put my email ID openly.
If
So,
you change the password, we can't find.
I didn't change the password which I have, but I just want you guys to try. Try, but I just give the warning. My email ID has been more proactively monitored with a tool thing called Honeypot. I hope coming soon might be aware of what is Honeypot. What is Honeypot? Okay, what is Honeypot?
So like honeypot, when you say honeypot, like you are giving them a open space, or you are allowing them to come to your network and do whatever they want. But that will be not an actual network. It will be a controlled environment, you can say.
It's a trap
Exactly.
for
But
hackers.
it's related to network, it's correct. But what about email ID?
It is a
Email ID.
vulnerable virtual machine which is used to trap the hackers who hack into our system by giving them open ports to access our system and getting their logs and IP address.
Brother, I understood whatever you have tried. But could you explain me what is honeypot? I don't want the definition. I just want to understand. Okay, so here it is Nilesh Shaker
Honey,
9
honeypot, honeypot is a scanning attack.
scanning attack. So what type of
Yeah.
scanning attack?
Firewalls. So
That's a
route.
sort.
Pardon?
Yeah, someone came with some other answer.
Scanning firewalls.
Honeypot is
Oh.
it's a sort of intrusion attack, gentlemen.
It's a sort of intrusion attack. Fine, okay. Everything is fine, but I'm not getting the exact definition. Whatever you guys have been talking were the definitions, whichever you guys have been reading in internet or whichever you guys have read in past. I want to know what is your understanding about honeypot.
Sir,
Yeah.
Honeypot is a system that runs actual softwares and other services like any other system.
No,
And
bro. Again and again. Yeah, again and again. Okay, it's a sacrifice computer. Okay, capture everything.
In a simple way, I should say honey trap is a basically it's a sort of trapping which most of the peoples wrongly interpret. Sorry.
Honeypot is a type of security mechanism that is used to trap the attackers.
I guess Christian Ray Drapte have given the correct answer. So honeypot is the thing which will
By false implicating as honeypot is a sort of trap by way of which the person's implicating the person acting as either a male entity or a female entity tries to trap by way of social engineering.
Okay, let's we are deviating now. Let me explain up. So honeypot, as Christian Ray Drapé said, it's a trap which would be set by the well-known networking guy or well-known network setup guy to learn the network attack patterns whichsoever you guys have been trying to attack me. Got my point? For example, if you want to murder me, I will just send my clone to everyone. Come on, attack it. So whatever the attack patterns you are trying on against my clone, I will just record and prepare myself or harden myself. That's the actual representation of honeypot. Whatever you guys have said, where everything is right, but only thing.
Sir, can you explain once again, please?
Okay, let me say like I'll give you a real-time example. So honeypot is nothing but a simulation of everything whichever you have and attracting the attackers to attack. Once they start to attack, the core purpose of the honeypot is to learn from the attacker's pattern and get it up and harden yourself or prepare yourself for the attack. Got it? Or is it confusing? Okay, let me give you a real-time example. Let me say I want to deploy honeypot for me, okay, in real time, okay. So what it will happen is, I will say, imagine there is a murder threat for me. So I will send a person or a clone and publicly let him to move up without any security. At that time, how the attackers responding and attacking that particular clone, I will watch them, learn from it, and react to it. Got my point? Sir, Modi Twitter account hacked, which vulnerability? I'll just give you, there were a lot of things which might be hacking, or the cyber security is 50% technical and 50% common sense. How many of you agree with this? 50%, I say cyber security is 50% common sense and 50% technical stuff.
Yeah, totally
I agree.
agree, sir.
Okay. So here, with respective to roadmap, how I hope most of them here are students. So I hope everyone is from some other cybersecurity, okay, critical thinking and tactics. So everyone is student, or how many of you are professionals over here? So I can guide it up rightly. Most
I'm
of them were
professional.
okay.
So I am professional, sir.
If you are professional, which domain you are into?
I am working in a bank here in Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank as IT operation analyst.
No, which site and?
Sorry?
No, what's your domain?
IT operation analyst, sir.
Okay, IT operations. Are you into SOC or something, or into infrastructure?
SOC is not coming, but in my year, this NOC is coming. NOC is included.
Okay, fine. Any other from where
Mine is cyber security pre-sales.
cyber security pre-sales? Okay, into marketing kind of stuff. Okay, next.
So marketing, like we understand customer requirement and suggest a solution to them according to their network infra and all.
Okay, fine.
So technical, not the marketing.
Yeah, I understood that. So you would be going and marketing about the vulnerability products and
Yeah, vulnerability means like each and every product which comes under like application security, web application firewalls, firewall, next generation firewall, DLP, EDR, SIM, SOC, everything.
So you can itself explain everything.
So almost the map which is in front of me, I can go and
You
each
can
and every
relate it
point I
up,
can.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, to be honest, you only know most of the things than other than me.
You can say that. But I don't know what is your strength. As I in the starting you said you are onto bug bounty and everything. So bug bounty and everything is the one part of it. Okay.
Okay,
So
let me say only one thing. I am a bug bounty hater, to be honest.
yeah. So yeah, we can proceed.
Yeah,
Vignesh.
I'll just come into the section back. So I hope everyone heard about red team, blue team, source code scan. Can you guys look at this red color section, and if you guys understand every terminologies which I have mentioned, I can go to the next session. Can you guys see the vulnerability scan, risk assessment, source code scan, black box, white box?
May I know what is data center risk assessment?
Okay, risk assessment. Okay, risk assessment is nothing but accessing the risk with actually what's the core purpose I'll design that up. So whenever you guys get into the cyber security, there would be a threat model. That is a separate industry called threat intelligence. There where they will define the threat for the companies. And risk assessment would be done as part of compliance. Most of the time would be depending on the compliance, where they will evaluate the risks associated with the networks, hardware, and other stuff. The core work is similar to the auditing, but they will do every part. They will cover the core difference between auditing team and risk assessment team is auditing team is purely into checklist part. Let's say like, are you following these rules or not? For example, let me say there is an IT administrator working in the company, okay, and that IT administrator left the job. So as per the policy or the compliance rules, the next administrator whomsoever comes in or the existing administrator should change the password. Okay, so as per compliance, this is the rule, and if you don't follow, we won't give you the standard. So auditor will say, hey, have you done this or not? If you have done, what is the proof? If you have done this, give that proof, and if you have it has been signed or not, or whether it has been, what's the proof for it? So risk assessment guy, what he will do is he will verify technically whether it's right or not. So for example, auditor comes and says, yes, the password has been changed. He will log into that and check, yes, it's correct or not. Got my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it.
Agree.
Okay.
So, Vignesh,
Yeah.
this is Amar. So, can I say that auditor will follow the standards and the risk assessor will evaluate in technical perspective? Is that
Exactly.
saying?
Yeah, exactly. The auditor will follow the standards and make sure the standards are being followed. Risk
Okay.
assessment will evaluate whether it's been followed or not.
Followed or not? Okay, got it.
So risk assessment is like a police guy, traffic police guy, whom says whom will be on the spot and flagging you. Yes, it's not there. This guy is like a governance body. Yes, you should follow these rules. Like that, he will publish up the rules, and he will make sure that the rules are followed. Okay, I hope everyone is clear about the terminologies over here. So I just want to ask one question to make sure you guys have been understood this. What's the difference between penetration test and red teaming?
Actually, penetration testing is a general term which is used to denote the breaking into systems or network or any application. But the red teaming, I think, is all about penetrating into the Active Directory.
Both are same, right? Active Directory is just a component, right?
Okay.
Any other?
Team is a organization which helps others motivate others, and pen testing means which discovers and exploit the vulnerabilities.
Penetration testing are white hats and red team are black hats. No, please. Okay.
I think,
Sir.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Sir,
No,
red
you.
team, sir, red team organization. Red team means it will organize, improve themselves by providing opposition to the point. And
Okay.
And pen testing means discovering vulnerabilities and exploiting them.
No, both we will do the same.
Both, okay.
Sir, can we say black box pen testing as red teaming? Black box pen
No. Black box pen test is in separate phase of testing or type of testing, which should be carried as part of penetration test.
Okay.
So should I give one example for the red teaming?
Okay.
PT,
Maybe it's based on
testing,
the intention of the penetration tester, right?
Penetration test?
Based on the intention of the penetration tester, who are hacking into the systems. Intention. Okay.
No.
I'll give you the one red teaming example.
Yeah.
My understanding is red team is a team who challenges the infrastructure security, not only infrastructure, means the entire thing, means by following certain penetration test standards, whereas blue team is the team which ensures whether the security procedures are being up to date.
Okay.
This is what my understanding
Okay.
means. Literally saying red team will be performing certain activities just like a hacker, but they will not do exactly the hacking stuff. They will follow almost similar roadmap, but they will not do extract the data. And based on their inputs, maybe blue team will be fixing the flaws, means fixing the vulnerability or flaws, and then again they will be strengthening that perimeter.
Okay, more or less it's correct. So okay, penetration test, as you said, as you guys said, everything is right. So only thing is penetration test. The entire goal of penetration test is to own the domain and create some proof of concept that the network or that particular corporate or that particular sector is penetratable. Okay, red teaming is purely simulation. Okay, and it would be performed at regular intervals, and the core difference between penetration test and red teaming here is, if you are in penetration tester, what you guys will do is, if I'm giving something to hack, what as previously said, Active Directory or LDAP or whatsoever the domain architecture may be, you will become as a domain admin, create a proof of concept, and leave the and make it as a penetration test is completed. But whereas in red teaming, it will be simulated in real time, where they will set up like a backdoor kind of. Backdoor is nothing but an stealer or any malware kind of, which will keep on passing information to that particular C2 server. Okay, C2 server is nothing but a server where we store all the hacked data or miscellaneous data, whichever it's coming from the network. Got my point, or is it not clear?
It's clear, sir.
Okay.
Could you please come again?
Yeah, so let me say again. So red teaming is purely a simulation based exercise. First point. The core difference between penetration test and red teaming is, first point, penetration test, the scope is limited. Scope is limited in the sense, for example, if you own the domain administrator or if you own the network, you are in. What you guys will do, what they will do is, they will create a proof of concept, and once they have created the proof of concept, they will leave the network. The penetration testing is done. But whereas in red teaming, they will go to the maximity and they will deploy some backdoor and they will keep on stealing the information as a simulation basis. And as you said earlier, blue teams will be there who will defend the network, but the core aim of red team is to test and react. Test how far they will react, detect and react. To test the air, in other words, to test and react, or how far they are reactive to the attacks, or how far they are ready for the attacks. That's the most of the attack is concentrated on red team. Got my point? And in red teaming is everything is offensive. You can even attack the physical security stuff and everything. You can do it.
Okay, yeah.
So if people are not understanding, can I give a one example here?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So if your company, example you don't know, but your company has given a red teaming exercise to some third party. So what they will do, they will come as a, sometime they will come as a visitor to your organization. They will sit on the your visitor area. They will try to access your Wi-Fi.
No, please come again.
Hey, sorry, I got mute. Okay. So if your company has given a red teaming exercise to some third party, okay. So what they will do, their guy will come you as a visitor, okay. and he'll try to access your Wi-Fi guest network, or he'll try to find out some network connection in your organization, and from there he'll try to enter your network, or he will give the interview also, he will get selected, and then he'll try to do some exercises in your internal network where he'll get through some connections, then he'll try to put the USB, or he'll try to do some other stuff. And as you mentioned that he will hack and react, like once he got through, he's successful on the attack, then he can connect to the C2C server and everything that can be done. That is one
The
example.
whatever,
There are lots.
yeah, whatever you have said will be covered under penetration testing. Actually,
PT, you will be see PT, you will be doing it remotely, right? Yeah, it is obviously there. You will come there, but it is unknowingly. Like I am going to for an interview, that will be not in a PT test, right? If I am giving an interview and I'll got selected, I'll come to your organization, join your organization, okay, and then I'll try to do my stuff. That is also part of the red teaming.
yeah, I agree with that. I'll just go on with the flow and then I'll come back to you later and with brief
No
explanation.
problem, no problem.
Okay. So here, as I said, this if you are a hater of programming, the area is for you is governance, and if you are into law and regulations also there, which is in cybersecurity laws, and if you want to write, there is an company complaints policy and enforcement. This all where you can find here is PCI DSS, ISO 27001. These are the common buzzwords which you guys might hear about. These are the compliance stuff which will come under governance. And as I said earlier, framework and standards. And here, security architecture, where you need to be having little bit of mathematical and programmatical knowledge.
Vignesh brother, you are muted.
Sorry. Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
So as I said earlier, this red color area, which I am showing about risk assessment, penetration test, all are about the core technical part, which you guys might work, where you guys were played around or would be given with certain type of application where you need to test and report it up. Okay. And here in governance part is completely dedicated to the people whom hates programming. If you ask me if you are, do I need to have no programming? Yes, little bit of programming knowledge you need to have for certain sectors. If you are good at very maths, very good, you can come to the area called cryptography. And if you are very good at network or protocols, ports, and other stuff, you can come into the area called network design, which is nothing but reviewing the network design. And nowadays, cloud security is more. And in cloud security, as identity management, or there is a difference between authorization and authentication. Whom I need to authenticate, whom I need to authorize. So such a part will be covered over there. So once you have, if you are in from teaching background, or if you want to go into teaching side, here the area is for career development. Either you can go like an instructor, but it requires much experience. Let's say minimum 5 to 8 years of experience. So once you've done that, other part will be as security operations, where you will be responsible for detection, reaction. As I said, you would be either you would be operating some SIEM tool or SOC, where you would be proactively monitoring what's happening inside the network and what's happening, what's the inbound and outbound data which is coming inside and outside the network. And there is the most highly paid jobs, if you ask about in the salary wise, it would be ranked like CISO, who would be the head of every guy, and next will be the CTO, and there next would be the incident response guys, and there is one more industry which I forget to mention over here, that is called malware analysis, and there is another industry is red teaming, and of course that security architecture, and you can and other areas would be source code, vulnerability scan, etc. So this is I have covered nearly 80% of the cybersecurity domains. Apart from this, there were few more areas. If you want to get into like military or something, you need to learn about ICS SCADA systems. It should be in different sector. ICS, industrial control systems, which will talk about PLCs, etc. And if you want to go a little bit advanced, if you are from communication background, and if you are communication in sense, ECE or any other thing, the most advanced thing which you can go is network hacking, which is satellite hacking, which is separate part where you were employed in space agencies and all, that were highly paid jobs. So these are the entire cybersecurity domains and roadmap which I wanted to give it to you guys today. So next, if you want me the resources, here are the resources. Most of the resources, if you are into cybersecurity, you might have already came across. These resources, as I said, I have only prepared for the beginners. So now I hope I have made clarification about the cybersecurity roadmap. Now we can get into question section. Whatever the question. Yeah, sure. I'll just give it. Yeah, please shoot your questions one by one, so I am ready to, not only in the with respect to the presentation, with respect to anything in cybersecurity.
Mr. Vignesh, this is Vikrant.
Okay.
I have a small question for you.
Sure.
Recently, the cyber crimes that are happening in India for the social media harassment and other things. So when we complained it to the cyber police, so we get the answer that it's a private IP and they have contacted to the Google or the other their sources. So they get only the service provider. So is there any alternate solution to get an actual attacker other than service provider?
The only way to actually why there were why most of them will say that reason is, let's say you have done the hacking through your mobile. Okay.
Okay.
Let's say you are in Delhi airport and you have performed the attack and you have catched the flight and you can. Oh, sorry. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. So let me explain the analogy behind it. So first of all, other than attacking the actual attacker, it's not possible to get the actual IP of the attacker. Point one. And the IP is always changeable. Okay. There were tons and tons of anonymous stuff. Unless we guys are into cyber cell, or there were various levels of cyber cell which can figure out the actual attacker. But only thing is, the local or the intermediate cyber cells won't be able to figure out, since they lack the technology which will give you the actual face of the attacker. Why? In sense, most of the time the attacks would be happening behind any SOX proxy we call, or we call that they might be behind the VPN. So it's very hard to track which IP address that particular attacker has been assigned to. For example, let me say, everyone heard about BSNL, right? So once the BSNL, if that particular attacker owns a BSNL connection, if you go and ask is this the IP belongs to the BSNL, and if you ask the BSNL office, he can give you the actual address of the attacker. But if that attacker uses multiple IPs, it's very hard to figure out. Why? In sense, IP is always changeable, and it's unless you own a computers like supercomputers, it's very difficult to trace the real IP behind it. SOX5 and VPN at the same time, and multi-hop VPNs. There were multiple things like SSR we call, which is a little bit advanced. It's a type of protocol which attackers will use for anonymity. And there were certain operating systems like Tails, Quint, Orange OS. Tor is traceable. I'll repeat it again. Tor is trackable. Tor is completely trackable. So if you are behind the Tor, we can track it up. Other than that, it's very difficult to track it up for common. How can we track a original IP address? That's what as I'm saying. Original IP address, as far I know, 90% it's untraceable. It's untraceable. If you are reading any article, or if anyone claiming that, yes, I can trace your IP address, we cannot say like, okay, let me answer it one by one. I am reading all the chats. I am just explain with every stuff. Unless you attack the attacker with the attacking link. Let's say there were links like IP2 locator, or there were a lot of things. Even you might heard about a tool called Metasploit. So there were a lot of things which will give the attacker's IP, but it might not be the real IP. Okay, and there were a lot of things beyond the IP also, like your browser might leave certain information, your email ID will do certain information. If you want to figure out real attacker, the only thing, the max which I can think is OSINT. Okay, think if someone got hacked, how to find if he has completely anonymous inside, what you think for that? I'll just answer your question one by one. Okay. So first, I have cleared your question, sir. Ravi, someone have asked. Is it clear to you? Okay, so thank you. So next question, which have been asked here is, one second, let me browse it up. Okay, how to get a job as a pen tester? So that's the next question which I read. So as per the pen testing, as I said, pen testing is all about, there were multiple areas in pen testing: network pen testing, application pen testing, ICS, SCADA, IoT, etc. So if you want to get a job as a pen tester, just go through the basics and become intermediate level of networks and application protocol. Just dig how application work and how network works. For example, you guys need to know what's the difference between TCP/IP and UDP, and how to breach that, or how to breach that particular ports and breach the particular services. So once you get into that skill set, you can get a job as pen tester. I recommend you to try some challenges which are freely available in Hack the Box or Try Hack Me, which were the common platforms which is readily available for you to practice. There were various sectors which you need to learn to get yourself into a full-fledged pen tester, that were cryptography, OSINT, threat analysis, vulnerability analysis, exploitation, and post-exploitation. These were the stages or the skill sets which you might require if you want to become like a full-fledged pen tester. Okay, so I recommend you to get into touch with that skill sets, or if you want to get read about it, I'll just give you one site, or which will contain all the thing about pen testing. Most of the guys will follow this it's called PTES, Pen Test Standard, which contains every standard what you guys need to learn or what you guys need to get about it. So that will answer your question. Ayush, Vishnu, is someone have asked. So second question, how to get into SOC? So SOC is all about tool monitoring, or we can call it a security operations center, where your core work is to monitor and alert the people. So SOC, either you get well versed with some IDS, IPS, or some firewalls, and some SIEM tools where you can learn about it. I'll just give you one resource which will have some links about it. 1 second. So you can go through this awesome SOC which will have all the links related to it. So what is the link to that? How to start career in pen tester as fresher? As I said earlier, you need to get practiced first. Don't straight away jump into some course like CEH or something, or ECSA, or just don't jump into courses first. First and foremost, if you want to get into any, not only pen testing, if you want to get into any cybersecurity domain, you should have basic knowledge of networks, basic knowledge of how application works, basic knowledge of how operating system works. And then please jump into the pen tester or whatsoever the job which you wanted to. Since all will be evolved around that or bundled around that. If you ask me network pen testing, if you don't know what's happening inside the network or what's happening in the ports, if you don't know the difference between HTTP and FTP, you can't pen test the network. Okay, so if pen testing is nothing but testing some service, exploiting some service, and owning some service. That's all it's all about as a pen testing. So if you want to become a pen tester, be well versed with all the skills, then apply for the job of pen testing. There are a lot of sites which will be helping you, help to give confidence about it. And once you gain confidence, attend some CTFs. CTFs are nothing but capture the flag or events which will happen, where they will give prizes, or where they will compete ourselves to test yourself how far you have learned the things. New techniques will come across daily. If you some vulnerability, there will be CTF challenges which will be based on it. There were some beginner level CTFs. You can check it at CTF time, which will help you to learn from it. So how can we track a original IP address? Can you explain a Tor in depth? Okay, let me explain Tor in very simple manner. Tor is just a how to say, bundle of networks which are merged together, where your IPs would be switched across the nodes. Let's say I want to pass the information from A to B. Okay, A is the client and the B is the server. Client is requesting some information and server B will provide back the information. This is the normal network communication which will happen. So if you want to ask the information from A to the B, how the network will go in Tor is A to C, C to L, L to Z. 1 second, I'll just give you a dilemma which will help you to understand better. Normal communication is A to B, but as in Tor, A to C, C to L, L to Z, then Z to B. So it's confusing, right? The path which reaches the destination data through some certain protocols. Let's say Onion is a certain protocol which will help you to hide or behind it's just an identity. Okay, Onion is like .com, .in, it's just an identity which was designed, which that service will be reachable only via such browser. So Tor is a browser which will help you to access that particular service or that particular protocol. Let's say if you, yeah.
Can we spoof the IP, which I'm in India, my friend is in USA. I want to spoof his IP address. I'm
Spoofing,
talking
there were a
about
lot of, yeah.
CCNA routing and switching, sir. I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. How
So
we
you
can
want,
do that?
so if you want to do the spoofing and spoofing attacks, so if you can do it in various ways, okay? But there were a lot of other ways where, if you ask me how to do it, one way is you can just do the attack the ARP and take it up, or you can sniff one's SNMP connection, exploit one SNMP community string and owns some IoT device or own some botnet and you can put it up, or you might have some L3 switch. Since you talk, yeah, L3 switch where you have some routing tables, you can alter the routing table and you can get into that. You can switch. So there were a lot of ways to switch the IP, but in reality, there were other areas which will leak the information as well. Let me give you an example. 1 second. So there is a thing called web browser fingerprinting, where you will leak some certain information through browser itself, like IP address, JavaScripts, or whatever the videos you use or the location. If you want to test that, I have given you the IP address, so which will help you to test your browser. Not only your IP will give you the anonymity, 100% anonymity. There were a lot of facts which will depends on you, which will give the real anonymity. If you want to play with your friend, you can use this kind of test. If you want to play with your guys like FPL, you need to upgrade yourself with lot of anonymous stuff. If you are more interested in such a stuff, I'll just give you one stuff. 1 second. If you are into some privacy or some stuff, if you are worried about it, so here are the stuff which you can read it up in your free time, which will give you all about your privacy leaks.
Yeah, it's good.
Which will tell you how to test your browser, how to prevent from leaking the information. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So next one, is it possible to hack Alexa? So before hacking Alexa, yes, it's possible to hack Alexa. Alexa is a VoIP-based response system, VoIP-based server or in some AI which has been designed to respond to you back. It's possible to hack Alexa. There are a lot of ways. If you want to know how far we have hacked Alexa, not we, I am talking about how other people have hacked Alexa. You can check Alexa Hack the Box or Alexa, sorry, not the Hack the Box, Exploit DB or Alexa Exploit US, where you can get a lot of exploits to hack it up. We can get how to get started in malware analysis. Yeah, some question before that. Yeah, bro, coming soon, bro. Something you came to say. Okay, let me come to your question next. So how to get started in malware analysis? So first, malware analysis, as we discussed, let me say what's the real definition of malware. So malware is nothing but some program which behaves maliciously. That's it. So why, when the program will be defined under some malicious is any form of, as previously said, any form of unauthorized read, write, execute operations any form of read, write, execute operations which was pre-designed or which was how to say, which was certainly programmed is in unethical way, it should be termed as a malware or malicious program. Malware analysis is all about how you analyze that program and how you defining that particular program is malicious or not. So there were a lot of stuffs behind that. If you want to get into malware analysis domain, first you need to start with reverse engineering, and once you get well versed with reverse engineering, I recommend you to study some basics of network and operating system, which will help you to get well versed in malware analysis. For malware analyst, you can get any entry level job in some companies which doing as part of product. If you want to analyze and discover some ransomware, or if you want to write and analyze some malwares like Stuxnet, you need to be well versed in reverse engineering and some intermediate level of knowledge in network and some intermediate knowledge in operating system. Once you have that, you can jump into malware analysis. So then if someone got how to find if you are completely anonymous, what do you think for that? So as I said earlier, there is no 100% anonymity. If I am talking like an FBI or some CBI agency, I might have access to some 0 days. For example, you might guys heard about WhatsApp golden keys. WhatsApp golden keys, Cerberus. These were the some terminologies which you might come across often. So there were a lot of technologies which can break, even though how much strong your password is, there were a lot of technologies which can crack your passwords. And there is a process called OSINT, which is nothing but intelligence gathering about you, which will, as I said earlier, 50% common sense, 50% technical. So OSINT is the process which will help you to grab some information outside of the technical part, where you might leak some information about you, where you might leak some online presence. For example, let me give you one basic example how far company have owned you. If you have if you are using fingerprint in your Android phone, you have already given or shared your fingerprint to freely to Google. So this is one example which I have given to you, where there is no 100% anonymity. There were okay, how to track them. So as I said, there were a lot of ways. Let's say by sending some email links, or if I have access to some 0 days, I can straight away come into you and knock your doors. So this is from my side answer. There might be better answer for that question, which I can explain to you in one-to-one call with some deliberated or some brief questions. I understood your question, but I want little bit brief about that, what you are trying to ask exactly. For example, if you are asking in networking domain how to trace an attacker, I can explain to you. If you want to ask me in browser level, I can explain to you separately. So depending upon the sector which you are asking, I can give the answer, right answer, better answer. So the answer which I gave is the generic answer most of the people might give you. So how to start it in malware analyst, I have given. So how to protect bank customers' data from attackers. So like, yeah, coming soon some question.
Bro, can I ask you one question? Because of
Yes, please.
I already asked some numbers, but I'm not satisfied with that answer. Okay.
Yeah, please, bro.
Yeah, now modern days like 2020 now. I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
The quarantine days. So many members like beginner level, then pro level. So many members are started a bug bounty. Okay, that's you know that in quarantine so many bug hunters are. Yeah. so many bug hunters are formed in that hacking field. Okay, hello, can you understand
Yeah,
my
bro.
question?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not in English, okay, so please understand my question. Okay,
Sure, bro.
okay, fine. So similarly, in that engineering field, you know, engineering field, the scope, that's also 10 years back. It is a very awesome scope is the engineering. Okay, so nowadays in the engineering field, so many members are still BI, and there is less job in engineering field. So similarly, in bug bounty, also similar like that. Nowadays, bug bounty like in network level pen testing or malware analysis, that's a less scope. But bug bounty hunting, most of members are picking that this particular topic. I personally saw many members, very beginners, and then intermediate level. Most of the members are picking that particular bug bounty, like bug hunting. Okay, can you understand my question? What I say?
Yeah, I can get with your flow. Please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So now, what about thinking? What do you think about like that? Like bug bounty hunting still can it live on future, or it's happened for engineering like similar like I don't know what I say.
Okay,
Uh,
bro. I got your question. So
uh,
your
I'm
core
okay.
question.
We can
Yeah, let me
include.
answer one by one. So first question of you is, does bug bounty have future scope or not? Am I correct?
Yeah, so many members are there, and still, if I found a bug in your program, the next time you will not mistake on that part. So you will be secure on that part. So similarly, if all members are will be secured like a Google. Google is hackable, but not possible in this time. But we need to search more and more. Okay, that similarly, if all websites and all web applications are secure like as a Google, then what will be a scope in a bug bounty? So there is so many bug hunters there, but less in vulnerable. So what is the scope will be happen on future? But most of the members are not focusing on that network level pen testing, reverse engineering. So I saw.
I'll say I understood your question, bro. Just
Yeah.
give me 5 minutes of time. I'll just explain you why everyone is going behind the bug bounty. Okay, to all the guys whomsoever in bug bounty here, if I pay you remote code execution, remote code execution is the highest paid vulnerability. Okay, if someone pays you 20,000 rupees for a remote code execution, will they accept? Rupees. The first thing why most of the people were going behind the bug bounty is easy money. Point one. Second thing, whatever the money they are getting, all were in USD, not in rupees or not in some Nigerian dollar or not in Zimbabwean dollars. So most of them were thinking like, okay, let me go get into network pen testing, and why I need to go and work for example, if I get into a network penetration testing job, max I would be paid 6.5 lakh per annum as a entry level guy, 6.5 to 10 in Indian domain. So I can, if I concentrate on bug bounty, I can earn that amount in a short period of time and I can settle up. That's the thing. But as you said, right, I appreciate your future eyes where you foresee what's happening. So bug bounty is all about application testing where you guys would be given within certain web application or some certain network where you need to test for some misconfigurations, or you need to creatively find some bug which will maliciously provide access to you as an hacker or as an attacker, which will give access to you. That's what the bug bounty hunters will do. Before the other guys found out that thing, the bug bounty guys will find out that particular vulnerability. So if you ask me, cybersecurity is a very vast area. If you become expertise in any of the field which I have mentioned, there is a surely scope for that. There is no doubt in with respect to the scope in cybersecurity industry. If you ask me personally, and if you the word scope will come into our mind only when if you feel personal, don't get harsh. I'm just mentioning it in general. if people feel unskilled, there will be a thing called a word scope. So since there were a lot of industries have written softwares, there will be a lot of work to secure the things. Certain period of time, there were people who were writing the softwares and testing the softwares manually. Now there is a need to protect the data which has been designed or which has been pre-written. Okay, if you ask me the scope for bug bounty, the bug bounty industry might survive not more than 5 years. It's my personal opinion, due to the automation stuff which were coming up. If you are talking about the scope of pen testing and other stuff, yes, there's a scope, but you need to be more skilled enough. And the next scope area, or the people where the people were less in number, where one area is malware analysis, second area is CADA, third area is IoT. These three areas people were very less in number, so there were lot of chance, even if you are skilled intermediate. If you are skilled, there were a lot of Indian companies. I can give you a lot of name of Indian companies. Even they are ready to pay nearly 35 lakh per annum, 36 like 40, 50 lakh per annum, even if you have experience 1 to 2 years, if you are skilled. Okay, so that's the answer which I can give it to you. Coming soon, or you Tamil or Hindi?
I am reliable with both, like Tamil, Hindi, and I
Okay.
similarly know like 5 languages.
Okay, then fine. If you can speak Tamil post the session, please stay in the session. I'll talk to interact with you in Tamil, which can help you more clarity.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Please stay in session post this session, so I can interact with one-to-one.
Vignesh sir.
Yeah. So